Hi guys, I'm Shmee. Hello to you, good morning, and welcome back to the channel where today you join me for an update with the new TVR Griffith. So at the end of last year at the Goodwood Revival, I went down to see the launch of this car, to see it unveiled for the very first time. And at that event, I announced that I'd placed a deposit to order a future Shmeemobile, a future car in the garage. Now since then, loads of you have been asking me for an update. Where's my car? When's it coming? Today, I'll give you some of that information, but not only that, it's a pretty exciting day ahead because I'm going to jump into the car for a first ever experience from the passenger seat with Les Edgar, the company chairman. So let's get started, take a quick look at it, wait for Les to get down, and basically, today, enjoy the new Griffith. Here then we have the new TVR Griffith, and today we are visiting Topcats Racing, who are hosting an event with the car. They're going to be unveiling it very shortly to some of their customers, which includes myself. But let's take a quick walk around before we are going to hear the noise of this thunderous V8 firing into life. Now at this point, I've not actually heard it. I've seen the car a few times at events, but I'm looking forward to seeing and experiencing more of this on the private roads around the estate. So, the TVR Griffith, if you're not familiar with the car, it's a rebirth of the TVR brand under Les Edgar and his team. It is a car that is based around that 5-litre V8, naturally aspirated, making around 500 horsepower or so, but it's also about being very lightweight. It's going to come in at around 1250 kilos. It's got a 6-speed manual gearbox, all of that power going to the rear axle, and I imagine the front engine, rear-wheel drive setup is going to make for something pretty awesome fun to drive. Now we're seeing it here today with the wing down for the first time. It previously had the wing around 10 centimeters raised up, but this is a prototype car, their development car. It's been built with Gordon Murray design, based around the iStream chassis, which has steel tubes connected with carbon panels between them. But have a look at the aero. It's got ground effect, and you can see the insane diffuser at the back of this thing. But one of my favourite touches, if we come round to the side, is the side exit exhaust, which we are going to be hearing very, very shortly. It's also now got new wheels wearing on the car. There's been a lot of talk, of course, about the design, the styling. How do you introduce a new brand like this? But we're going to be hearing this in a moment, being able to take a look at the interior. So let's get ready, find Les, and get this thing started up. We are joined today then with the car and also with Les.
Hi Shmee, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Yourself?
Very good, and it's a fine, fresh morning.
It is a lovely morning to experience the car. So the big question, can we hear it?
You certainly can, it'll be my pleasure.
I'm looking forward to this, an awful lot, and the sound it's going to make, and then you're going to have to help me open the door as well.
Yeah, I'll do that. Let me just get inside and turn around.
Oh wow, that's a good sound. Raw, proper V8. The engine's been made even lower, low centre of gravity, but let me now come around and take a look at the interior. I've not had a proper look at the interior of the car.
What do you think?
Well, exciting. I think it's a wonderful mix of modern design.
Yeah, that was the whole idea behind it, was, you know, to try and keep it simple. It was back to this kind of the way cars used to be, not so much switches and dials everywhere, but just keep it nice and elegantly simple. So we've kind of focused on very few major components here, you know, the traction, the start, the kill switch, sport mode, and these ones down here just obviously for air handling and air conditioning. Try to keep everything else very sleek and simple.
But with a distinct style.
Yeah, indeed. You know, I look at the old TVRs and I have to say that every one of them was unique. They all look beautiful. They all had this very, as you say, distinct style. Unmistakably a TVR, not like nothing else, but elegant and beautiful in its own right.
So I should probably get belted up. Head on out. Work this one out. Well, it sounds good, and the dashboard is particularly cool. Do have to say, I love the way that's designed. I like that when you presented the car at Goodwood.
Yeah, we've tried to imitate the torque curve with the speedo line. So we're working on various different displays to give it a bit more interest, you know.
Yeah. Wow. It sounds good, doesn't it? I can see the smile on your face and your.
I love it every time we drive it. I love it.
Well, how many times have you taken the car out? I mean, it must be constantly testing, developing everything at the moment.
Yeah. Last time we were out at Cosworth 2 weeks ago for tyre testing. and I have to say that it's performing fantastic. But it was the first time we'd really been able to give it a really good thrashing, you know, to see how it felt like at high speed.
Yeah. Now that's what we like, that noise. That's what people are here for. This, the gear stick. It's a really deep grumble, isn't it?
Very. And that's very unusual. You'll see it from the trailer that we do.
Oh, that sound.
Straight into it. That's great. Just so much torque. Just you put it in any gear you like, and it's just fantastic.
Oh, the downshift. So good. While we head back then, I've got to ask, what's next in this journey for you? It's been a few years already, but what's the next stage?
Well, you know, factory's on its way, and slower than we expected.
Can't hear you.
That's good.
What a lovely day. So where were we? Factory's on its way.
Factory's on its way. Our test and prototype build facility is nearing completion, but we are behind. However, we're determined to get it right. We've got bigger picture now in terms of the what our plans are for the future, which I'm hoping to unveil very soon.
Okay.
We're putting out a depositors for our 500 plus the extra depositors who are buying the follow-on car. We'll be putting out a little newsletter next week with some good news in there, and hope to update on a more regular basis. Now, as we approach production and factory completion, we want to have more regular updates, which I know everybody's been clamoring for. So
yes,
but we don't like to say stuff unless we've got something to say.
Understood.
It's fatal if you do that.
I think one of the big things about the project is, I mean, by virtue of wearing the TVR badge, is that you have a customer base who are very much car enthusiasts and fanatically obsessed with what you're up to and want to know everything.
They do. They want to know everything, and we try to tell them everything, warts and all. But of course, you don't know what you don't know in this industry. You really don't. And until, you know, we got changes in homologation all the time. We've now had an engine change. Our expanding plans means we're always out there, you know, fighting to make sure that our 10-year plan's solid. And it's, you know, I'm not a car manufacturer. I don't think anyone would be surprised about that. Luckily enough, I've got loads of people who know how to do that bit. But in terms of the business, you know, developing the business in an industry like this with Brexit coming and all the other stuff is a real challenge. You know, we're on it and we're on top of it, but every day there's so much stuff we have to do to make sure that for 10 years, that we'll make the best out of the Griffith, and then the follow-on cars and the various plans we have for things alongside it, like you know, facelifts and racing and all that sort of stuff. It's constant, you know.
Wow. My very small taster is definitely a very exciting one. Oh, we got a bump.
Speed bumps.
Yeah.
You know, great ground clearance on the car. So, the ground effect allows us to have it actually a little bit higher than you might expect. Okay. So you get a lot of ground clearance. So sleeping policeman, provided you slow down, generally not a problem. If you don't slow down, you might lose the diffuser. But
but not an issue with ramp angle, and then the very tight turning circle.
I tell you though, you know, the driving at Castle Combe was the first time I'd really felt the ground effect working. Yeah. Yeah, you really notice it. Not just the the cornering, but the whole fact when you hit the brakes of the car, you come around, it doesn't move, it doesn't go wallowing all over the place, it doesn't nosedive, it's just beautiful. I mean, really fantastic. And coupled with the new Avon tyres, I mean, the sense of grip is really terrific.
This is, of course, the first time for me really kind of taking in the interior of the car, and well, I love the air conditioning vents, the small design details, radical, all the controls and toggles, the themes going on, small storage area back here behind the center console, the switches, the short gear shifter. Looks like it's positioned very, very well. And the screen, just general setup, I actually really like the way you've done this. It's quite hard to integrate entertainment systems. But that's come out nicely. And then
it's also very difficult, incidentally. There's not very many portrait infotainment systems. We wanted it narrow and tall. There's not very many you can get. I mean, things like the Apple CarPlay are all horizontally or landscape format always.
Right, okay.
Shall we do a little spin around and back to the back to Topcats?
Sure. Head back on over. I do like the steering wheel as well. Not cluttered. Alcantara, small wheel. Spin around and nothing at all. It's the burbles and crackles you get when as soon as you lift off. You've got pop 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 going on. Put my window down. And obviously with the exhaust right down here, it's so fantastically noisy. Sound. Whenever you're back on gas, it sounds amazing. You know that as soon as we park up and some of the cars are here now, we're going to have to do a very quick sound check.
Yeah, definitely.
If that's okay. I would love to. Well, actually, I don't technically need to jump out at all. We can hear it from straight here. All I would have to do is hit the button and open my door. But let's do this very quickly. Hit the button, open the door. So let us then, if it's okay, have a listen to this. Okay, doesn't it?
I think it sounds good.
What you're going for?
Pretty happy. It's exactly what I'm going for.
Brilliant. The car is just heading out again. Any opportunity for us to hear it from the outside and see it driving. Off they go. The grumbles. It does look good. Of course, when you think about it, £90,000 or so, competition to 911 and the like. But this is real front-engine, lightweight driving style. I really like it, particularly the rear, how open it is, how much aggression you have from the diffuser down at the back. The slash you have there underneath the Griffith to reveal the side exit exhaust. There's a lot of opening in terms of the front, so you can see actually straight the way through around the side. For airflow and for ground effect. Ground effect basically keeping the car stuck down, literally to the ground as much as possible. Well, very special opportunity. A ginormous thanks to Les for being able to experience this, and of course to the team here at Topcats Racing who have helped make everything possible. And you can see what a fantastic display they actually have now of some of their racing cars, the TVRs dotted in and around as well, cars on display. They do a lot of work here, servicing, maintaining, and have quite a few customers ordering via them for the new Griffith, which is now being parked up, ready for the presentation that's coming up shortly. Now that the car is parked up, I've got one question for you. When can I get behind the wheel?
Tim, I'm going to get you behind the wheel as soon as I can. You have my word on that.
Thank you. Well, thank you very much for taking us out, for sharing more about the car. I mean, I know there's a lot more to be done. You've got lots of challenges in front of you to get the car ready, to get it on the road. But exciting times, as always, I think.
Very exciting times indeed.
Well, congratulations on where you're at so far. I can only imagine how hard it is to create the brand, to get it started, to get it running. But it looks exciting to me.
Thank you very much. We're really proud to be part of bringing TVR back, and there are many challenges, but hey, why would you not take on those challenges? They're fantastic.
Definitely.
With this.
Awesome. Well, thank you. See you again very soon.
Thanks, mate.
Cheers.
All the best. Bye.
Well, it's getting very busy around here. We are joined by many a TVR from different generations, also some other quite exciting cars in this car park as well. There's a supercharged GT8 over that away. I think you can just tell having a quick look around. What else is here? One of only 2 Trackhawks in the entirety of the UK. And then this whole line, the different TVR models that are rolling through now. So lots of depositors, lots of people interested in seeing the new car, and a second Focus RS, as well as my red edition that's already parked up here in the car park too, with all of its bits and pieces and modifications made to it. Sounded good. Who doesn't like some gratuitous noise with Les revving up the Griffith in front of the crowd here at Topcats? There are lots of cars around that we're going to be making sounds out of, I think, with some of their racing cars, but that did sound very, very good, it has to be said. We currently have the bonnet opened, which opens and hinges from the front as it happens, but there is something really, really cool that I want to show you in here that I have never seen before. So of course we've got the Cosworth developed V8, but if you look at the induction system from the front, so airflow of course will come through here. If you're driving at speed, say you're out on a racetrack, it will be pulling more air through. But you will notice out of the bottom, there is a valve that comes through here and then goes straight into the chassis of the car, inside the tubes that run through the car. So effectively, that means on the inside of the car, you have all of the extra noise being brought around you. And that's part of why it sounds quite so good when you're actually inside. I'm not sure I've ever seen that in a car before, but quite an interesting thing to actually look at and see how they've developed. Whoever's idea that was, that's a big part of why it sounds so good, and it's pretty genius. Here's something fun about the car then. Because you have the side exit exhaust, which are clearly running on different sides of the bank effectively, you get this kind of rumbly noise out of one. But when you're standing right in front of it, it's a much smoother engine noise. I was going to say it's a much smoother engine noise. I'm not sure how much you can hear of the noise of the car revving away. Now, I've just been catching up with these guys from GMR Superchargers. This Vantage GT8 has a supercharger on it. Sounds good, by the way, with 610 horsepower. That's a 4.3 Vantage that I drove before, but also with a supercharger for 580. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm a bit hooked on this thing. I'd love to do a proper video drive for you guys to tell you more about it, but my goodness, that power, it's crazy, absolutely crazy. The experience driving that, I knew it was going to be cool, but I didn't think it would be that cool. Difficult decisions here. Difficult decisions in a very big way. The sights and sounds. I've come to take a seat inside the car, and I was just about to say that the Mosler is starting up, which is going to get very, very noisy, but this is actually my first time ever in the driver's seat of this car, so just looking around it a little bit more, taking it all in. Goodness. Yeah, and that's with our doors closed. That's quite a racket. I'm going to open the door for a moment. Yeah, it's very noisy. Very, very noisy, so they're going to line up with the race cars there. But I need to answer some of your questions. It's so loud. Okay, that was starting to get really pretty noisy, so I took a break for a moment, but let's get back to the question. And I think the number one thing that you would all like to know is, when will I take delivery of my new TVR Griffith? Well, let's talk about the company in general. It's a brand new company creating a brand new car. There are a lot of challenges to get this car into production, out on the road with a fully built factory, meeting all the rules, compliance and legislation and everything on that side. So basically, the official line is that it's going to be ready when it's ready. Now, I originally thought a few years ago when I placed my first deposit that it might be maybe in late 2019, that kind of time. I think they're not too far from that schedule, potentially early 2020 when the cars are ready, but that's not all that long from now. In any case, I will give you updates as and when I have them. I think the first cars are going to start, and thanks to the team at Topcats, who have a number of different allocations, I'm hoping, fingers crossed, to have a fairly early one for myself. So maybe in the first half of 2020, but let's see how these things progress in due course. Time will tell what's going to happen, but in any case, I'm excited about it. A number of people have questioned about keeping deposits in, but for me, from my short experience today, that is not going anywhere. I'm very excited about this car, particularly sitting here now in the driver's seat, taking a look around it, and just really getting quite excited for what is to come. So it's a big thanks today for the opportunity to the team at TVR, to Les, of course, for driving me earlier, and to the team here at Topcats Racing for hosting the event and inviting me down to come and have a look, and of course for my order slot with the TVR Griffith in the future. So good times, exciting times. I'm looking forward to this one. Awesome day today. Thank you very much for watching though, guys. That's it for now. I will see you again very soon. Cheers.